Right around this time of year is when I start to think about and seriously consider purchasing new arcade machines. And part of the reason for that is my work starts to die down a bit and I have more time to mess around in my home arcade. However, I started looking at some of the recent releases and I started looking at the brand Basic Fun. And I looked at their different offerings and the different things that they're currently offering in Canada. And after assessing what these units are and what they're currently offering in the market, my opinion is I think I'm going to skip them entirely. And in this video, I'm going to go over my reasons why and why until we start to see some pretty strong improvements, I'm going to skip this brand entirely. So let's take a look. I know there's been some mention in the comment sections or implications that I get given some of these machines that I review, which is absolutely not true. Almost any video that I've ever filmed, I'll tell you if it was something was given to me. So far in my almost 3 years doing this, I've never been given a arcade machine to review for free. So for me, any machine that you've ever seen me talk about on this channel, I've paid for out of pocket. I've purchased myself. And I've taken a risk on some of these, some machines better than others, and I'm pretty forward about that. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is when it comes to Basic Fun, one of the things that to me seems like a large disparity is the price point versus what's actually offered. I, like many others, was pretty interested in the WrestleFest. When I saw that was being announced, I thought, you know what, this unit looks like it could be a solid addition to my arcade. And I also looked at it from a context of, okay, so we got some good games, but what other features is Basic Fun going to be offering? And this is where I feel like there's a big issue. And this is what I mean. The units in Canada are around $700. And then the actual unit itself, as I understand, doesn't even have the original WrestleFest. And I understand licensing is as a thing and that they weren't able to get all the roster in that game, but you know, now you're getting a lesser pared down version, which for me, I'm not as picky as some of you enthusiasts, but when I mix that with the fact that this machine doesn't have anything at this price point that some of the conventional one-ups offer as a standard, like Wi-Fi, $700 seems steep. You're getting a lesser version of this game and you're not even getting the option to be able to play it online with others. So that was kind of my first knock. But then watching some of the other YouTubers build these machines and review them, I'm not going to tell you that the arcade one-up units have this high level commercial grade quality, but it seems like these machines don't have the highest quality control. And then you mix this in with, to me, which seems unacceptable for, again, $700, this unit doesn't even come with a deck protector. And I'm aware the early generation arcade one-ups didn't either, but in Canada, you were able to buy those for around $400 when they debuted. So the fact that we're getting a machine that already has mixed quality, and then we also don't even get basic things like a deck protector, it seems like $700, in my opinion, is absolutely too high. And I'll be straight up with you guys. I'm one of the biggest offenders in some cases of one-up and what they've done and why they've become more expensive. But that's also because I felt like I was getting more value for the money I spent. I was getting online. I was getting, you know, deck protectors as a standard. I was getting full coin doors. I was getting a bunch of things that the Basic Fun model, which if you look at them, look like they've almost copied a lot of the blueprint of one-up and their design. The Basic Fun models seem like they're just lesser versions at a hefty premium. And then I started to consider to myself, well, maybe I'll look at getting one of their countercades, which are very hard to get to Canada. There's potential to import them, but when I do the math on what they cost, where they're 200 plus American, and then I look at the fact that their countercades don't even ship whole, that to me seems like a complete slap in the face of the price point that they're charging. I bought the Unico Visco machine for like $200, which a lot of people, it kind of came in a flash, but a lot of people were mixed about. But that unit came with things like a deck protector and fully assembled out of the box. That was 200 plus HST Canadian. So I compare that to something like this, and again, we're looking at, in my opinion, now I have to build this countercade. I understand why the full-size units, you don't have to build them. I completely understand, like, you have to build them, sorry. I understand that. They're too big. There's no way to get them from point A to point B without doing it this way. But the countercades come in a pretty shippable box. And I have two Arcade 1-Up units, my Unico Visco unit that all came in a standard box, and they were cheaper than what this is costing. And now you have to assemble it as well. To me, that just seems like there's something going on here that doesn't make complete sense. We're getting a price disparity versus what you actually get. And so when I considered all those factors, this isn't a complete knock at Basic Fun, and I want to emphasize that I'm happy to see more competitors in this space, and I'm happy to see that there is some rekindling of excitement for home arcades. But I'm not happy to see that there's this egregious price point versus what you're actually getting. And for some people, maybe I'm overstating the Wi-Fi thing and the deck protector thing, but in my opinion, I've come to appreciate these things. I have people over and I play multiplayer games, but I also like to use these units on my own, and I still come back to X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom on my Arcade 1-Ups excessively. I still play on my Pac-Mania and check out the leaderboards and different scoring systems. And so for me, these are staples now that are offered in some of these units that it blows me away that for the $700 price point, you're not getting that. And the quality control seems a bit off. And on top of that, you don't even get basic things like a proper deck protector for their units. So when I consider all these factors, this year I'm most certainly skipping Basic Fun. It's not to say that they might not have better units coming out, or they're going to learn from this, which I feel like they will. They seem like they talk to their fan base, or are trying to anyways. But I hope that I'm cool with spending $700 on a unit, but I expect it to have certain things, and I really hope that whatever their next wave is going to include some of these things.